Oh, all right. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday once again. Who's got that Masters
hangover? Yeah.
Got that little bit of Masters
I feel
hangover.
it.
But hey, there is still great golf happening right now. We're watching it right here. RBC Heritage. What a terrific track. Before we went live here, we were just talking about how badly we need to get down there and play
Yeah,
there.
we have to get to Hilton Head. Put it on the list.
Put it on the list. Add to the list. And we'll be traveling in real soon. In fact, we're headed to Pinehurst here in just a couple days, so stay tuned for that. Good to see everybody. There's Pete. Pete, we're going to have a question for you in a second, so you hang on there. But it's good to see you. Welcome, as always, guys, to Coffee and Golf every Friday, 10 a.m. It's our opportunity to see you guys, chat with you guys. It's one of our favorite things is this live show.
I know. It's
No
a good
doubt.
way to kick off the day. We've got a pretty stacked day here at HQ.
We do.
Filming a bunch of fun stuff. Got a podcast after this. But before that, it's Coffee and Golf. So what do you say we dive into it and recap the Masters? Because it was fun.
It was
fun.
definitely a fun one, and it was. We'll talk about Matsuyama. Great to see what happened there with his win. Great for the entire real country of Japan just to have their first major winner. But I'll tell you what. One thing that I always enjoy with the Masters is that it almost is. You could make a case maybe with DJ in November, but otherwise no one seems to run away with it. Take a look at this. I saw this this graphic jump up, and it just all says it right here.
Yeah, look at that.
All of these guys who had significant leads into the final round and didn't come out on top. And I think that was one thing, or it's just why, like, no matter what, you got to stay tuned. And Matsuyama had, what was it, like a 5-stroke lead, something like that?
Yeah, we all were wondering, is he going to hold it? Is he going to fall victim
Right.
to this? And he kept his cool. But, I mean, you got to think about it. If you're holding a lead going into Sunday at the Masters, that's got to be a tough thing to hold on to. Talk about nerves. I mean, any
Yeah.
Sunday, any tournament, but this is the Masters.
Exactly. This is the Masters, and it's Augusta too. So Augusta can find different ways to punish you. We're going to talk. Speaking of punishing you, we're going to talk about Bryson DeChambeau a little bit later. But I tell you what, I think it definitely showed him its teeth, and I think it come back to bite him, calling it a par 67. Right?
Yeah, it definitely bit him.
That definitely came back and bite him. But look, at the end, it's always such a true test of golf. And we saw, Matsuyama was at the top of his game, playing incredibly well. You saw hard work pay off because he hasn't had a win in quite some time.
He's been kind of quiet lately. Yeah.
He's been quiet, but his work ethic is so strong. And we've seen a lot of the different, tour players talk about his work ethic and some of the practice that he does and the grinding that Matsuyama does. So it's interesting. But, I feel like we don't know a whole lot about him. He does live a fairly private life. In fact, like I had heard that there was only recently people discovered that he was even married.
Yeah. He doesn't give you much.
He doesn't give you much.
No,
he
he
doesn't
doesn't
talk
give you
about
much.
his private life
Very
that
quiet
much.
guy.
Good to see everybody, though. Jake Sims says, love the hybrid fitting. Hey, glad you enjoyed it. You guys know, we always love working with Kevin Sprecher. We always love trying out new equipment.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one.
And those things arrived, so we got to take a look at those today.
They did just show up just in time for our Pinehurst trip. And like I said, our commitment, especially on the YouTube channel, is to keep giving back to our subscribers because we do appreciate you guys so much. We value you guys so much. You've really been what's really helped catapult our growth. And so not only those, but we're going to be announcing in May another huge giveaway, subscriber giveaway.
It's huge.
It's huge. We're going to be giving, and it's going to be a long running one. Like, we're going to give a lot of stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that. But good to see everybody. Yep. Davis Reed saying Spreck effect. Yeah. And anytime we get a chance to get Kevin on the channel, you guys know we're going to take that chance because we love hanging with him.
It's such a treat.
It is.
It's such a treat. We're very blessed with that. I just want to address this Carter. We're going to be talking about Zalatoris today in a bit. So, yeah, we definitely want to talk about him.
But I want to get Pete.
Yep.
You're here. Pete McCann. I'm going to call you out. I want to get your take because I know you're there. You're going to be our on-location reporter here.
Boots on the ground in Japan.
We're going to talk about Matsuyama and his win. Throw it in the comments, so we'll throw it up on screen. What was it like being in Japan with the win? Was it just crazy? Were the news media outlets going nuts? I know they're crazy for their golf, as we all are. But let us know. Throw it in there. I'll look for your comment. In the meantime, we'll kind of talk about it. He becomes, just one of a handful of players to win the low amateur at the Masters and then come back and win.
Yeah, how about that?
Look at this list, Mike.
So Crenshaw won the low am twice. back-to-back years?
It looks like
Is that
he did.
something you could do back then, I guess?
70.
I
Well,
thought that
yeah,
was-
I mean, as long as you don't turn pro.
As long as you don't turn
A
pro.
lot of these guys, they turn pro shortly after.
Right, exactly.
But you got this list: Phil, Sergio, Tiger, Jack. That's an elite list right there. Very elite list.
Yeah, it is.
But
Wow,
I tell
impressive.
you what, and yeah, impressive, and it just shows you how long his game has been as strong as it's been, and I think we're going to continue to see great things from him. But one thing that just went viral, and I thought, I was just, I mean, this hit me in the feels. Like, I got all the chills when you saw Matsuyama's caddy just like, and it wasn't a stage thing.
Mhm.
It was I don't even know if he knows the cameras caught it. He just walked out there, put the pin in, and just bowed to Augusta, just showing respect for the course. And
Yeah.
even talking about it now, it absolutely gives me chills. It was an incredible sports and culture moment that mixed right there.
100%, and I'm glad it went viral. I remember seeing it when it actually happened because we were so tuned to that final putt and then everything that went on afterwards, and then the camera was able to go and catch that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great, and I didn't think anything of it at the moment. I just thought, oh, wow, nice. And then minutes later, hours later, and then all of a sudden social media, this thing started popping up, and then you put more thought into it of how much respect that was, and it was cool. It was really great to see.
Yeah, and then here, Pete, thanks for coming through. He told us, and Pete is in Japan. He said, it was completely nuts. He was everywhere on the news and social media from so many people who have no interest in golf. Sorry, I lost that there. So Japan is a golf-mad country, but it's about to explode. I mean, that is so cool. When we talk about growing the game, it's like there are so many ways to do it, and one way is to bring awareness to other areas and other cultures, and hearing that people who are not, it could be like Matsuyama could almost have his own Tiger effect.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the Tiger effect when like he would win early in his career and all of a sudden a whole crop of new golfers would pop up?
Definitely.
How cool would that be to see the same type of thing coming out of there?
And there's part two there.
And okay, part two, Pete says, Japanese people become expert in any sport when a Japanese person wins something. I'm really looking forward to it. And that's so cool too, to see that
How cool is
they
that?
dive in and they get into it. So I think that's a great mesh there of having golf in a culture that is so ready to embrace something. It was just huge. It was huge for Matsuyama. It was huge for the country.
And that's how we embrace players. I mean, take someone like a Zalatoris. I mean, the world was watching him, and the world discovered him. Most of the world discovered him for the first time last week.
Right.
I mean, we knew about him from obviously being involved with this, but for the first time. I mean, I have my 93-year-old grandmother calling me up and be like, "Have you ever heard of this guy? He's great. He's great." And I'm like, so. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see new players make some waves, especially in a big event, especially when there's a grand world stage and people like Adam Sandler watching you, which we're going to talk about in a sec as well. So very cool to see.
And I heard a quick interview with Zalatoris, and he said for him, he's been grinding for a long time. And if you become aware of him and you look back at some of his accomplishments, you see, okay, it's not like it was completely out of nowhere. I mean, he's an incredible player, but it's amazing how the Masters is so the world stage, and that even that people who don't normally watch golf are watching. And there's some people who are just like fringe golf fans who will only watch the majors. Right. And he gave an interview where he said it went overnight from him being able to go out and get food to being stopped by 1 million people for autographs and pictures. It changed like overnight for a guy like that.
Insane.
It's amazing. The Masters can truly change lives in that way.
It's a world stage, man.
Speaking of world stage, Stefano, good day from Italy. It's great to see so many international.
Yeah, this is cool.
People. It's just this is our favorite time. Just like getting to be with you guys.
This is it. We usually go off script because of all these comments. So sorry about that. But Kirk mentioned Alex Napier also posted some awesome stuff on it. That's right. Alex, big follower. He's stationed out in Japan as well.
Yes.
So he posted some stuff. I didn't get to see it, but I love seeing those overseas.
And there's from what I've seen from Alex post, there's some beautiful courses.
There really is.
Japan.
Yeah.
And for land-wise being so small, it's not like they've got room to put lots and lots of courses, but it seems like there's unbelievable ones. Pete says, got interviewed by the Golficity lads. There's the highlight of my week. Well, Pete, it's always great. Always great getting a chance to chat with you. And again, that's why we do this live, is to get to see so many of you guys.
Well, you know what we got to do, Pete? I think for the Olympics, we're going to have to send you a link and put you into our green room, and you could be our on-the-ground reporter for that week. All right?
There you go.
So now you can physically, your face could be on it. You could be on video. That might be cool.
Speaking of which, I want to show this painting.
Show the painting, and then I'm going to jump in right after that.
Okay, so this is what's the name of this artist again? We highlighted him last week. Reza, right?
Yep.
So he does these incredible paintings, and he did this one that I just thought was great of Matsuyama. And
it's not a picture, folks. Like
it's not a picture. That's a painting,
and it blows my mind.
And I mean, talk about capturing a moment there. I thought that was just incredible.
How cool is that?
I
wanted to mention, I see a lot of comments about the various giveaways. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this Coffee and Golf, I'm just going to address some of the ones like the tea bag, a couple you mentioned, the FootJoy one, the putt out. I'm just going to give you guys an update on which ones are completed, which ones are still going. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, and I want to talk about that FootJoy one because we're still trying to contact a couple winners. But so great stuff, and we're trying to walk the line of answering as many of your comments as possible and also getting through what we wanted to chat about here. Scott, we are trying to get back to Scotland, especially around the when the Open's going to be played at St. Andrews. We've got it in the works, but everything now, ever since everything was so much easier, and now with COVID, it shook it up.
Isn't that next year?
But I think it's next year.
Yeah.
But we're working on getting that done. But what I want to talk about too is how cool to see this was. I mean, people were saying people's champion and all that type of stuff and I can't imagine what it must have been like to be sitting there in the Atlanta airport and all of a sudden you look across the way and there's Matsuyama waiting for his flight with the green jacket draped over the back of a chair there.
Not
Are
wearing
you
it,
kidding?
just draped. Yeah.
Now, I know he doesn't speak much English, but I avoid myself walking up to him and at least making an attempt to like congratulate him and be like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
But and how funny is it? And here's a guy who just won the Masters. You know, it's like what's the winner take? It's like a $2 million, something like that. And everybody was joking he's not flying private, but hey, you'd be surprised at how many of these guys do fly commercial. I mean, I know it's first class, but
yeah. I mean, it is pretty wild to see this.
It's totally wild.
My head went there instantly. Why is this guy not flying private? And then one of the funniest memes, I think PGA Memes had this same photo, and the caption was refreshing to see when the 2.4 milli hits. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, refreshing his screen, exactly. But again,
it was 2.4 million, I think it was.
I thought this was just got the wrong one there on the airport one. It was just an incredible like scene to be like, there's a guy who like literally is just the top of the food chain in all of sports highlights. That only moment. 12 hours before.
Exactly.
And there he is with the green jacket.
Yup. David says it's 6:30 in the morning. I mean, talk about amazing. Jake says love that photo so much.
That is just too funny.
Yeah, it's cool to see.
And I know on the other side of that coin was Dustin Johnson, who didn't end up making the cut. I want to talk about DJ in a second because he's struggling again this week. But it's a totally different feel when you've got to bring that green jacket back. You know what I mean? Here's Matsuyama walking out with it, and then DJ's there. And
he only had it for a short time, Dustin.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
You know?
Technically, he had it like the shortest of anybody. And I remember Tiger joking about it when it went to November. He said, "This is not how I wanted to retain the jacket for 18 months."
Right.
When he had it. But interesting stuff. Rocco's asking about Bryson. We got a whole segment. We're going to talk about Bryson in a second because kind of like shocking news last minute to see him pull out of the RBC Heritage. So we'll talk about that in a second. And we just chatted a little bit about that. Matsuyama's caddy bowing was the exact opposite of Bryson calling Augusta par 67. Now, I don't personally think that Bryson meant to do a dig
I don't think
there.
He was insulting
I think he just some things he says is no filter, but
right.
We'll get.
I understand what he was saying.
Yeah, we'll get your take on that. But I also want to talk, of course, about Zalatoris because incredible rocket rise.
He deserves the spotlight for sure.
Take a look at this, Mike. This is his world ranking.
How about that? 1 year.
In 1 year. It just shows you how much and how quickly things can change and how large of a crop of great golfers there are. I mean, you look at around like the guys who are on that line of punching their PGA Tour card, the Korn Ferry guys. There's just so many guys who can come almost seemingly out of nowhere, although in reality, like I said earlier, it's not out of nowhere.
That's right.
Because
it's not.
these guys are grinding, and we're just not seeing it.
We're not seeing the Corn Ferry Tour is very competitive. Those guys are good.
It is.
Those guys are really good.
You know who it makes me think of is even Lonto
Yep.
Griffin.
Mhm.
Lonto is the same type of guy. Incredibly high caliber player on the Corn Ferry, breaks through and does some great things on the PGA Tour. But again, I mean, I'll just show you this one more time. This ranking. He was in 1,500th place in the world back in April 2019, and a year
Was it
later,
2019 or 2020?
it says 2019.
Okay, so it was 2 years, but
2020 he jumped up to 483rd.
but still,
And then he still
483.
jumped to 27th. I mean, talk
Still
about
impressive.
making moves.
Seriously.
Talking about making moves. But, of course, the big running joke, of course, was and Jason makes a great point. He goes, what a story. Zalatoris doesn't even have his PGA
Right.
Tour card yet.
He doesn't have the card, but he still gets that money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He makes whatever he makes on tour, but what he's going to have to do, I mean, obviously he's going to start to see some exemptions with how he's been playing and how he's been performing. He's
Right.
playing again. He's playing well this week. And then once he gets a win, then I think that punches a card, I think, for 2 years once you've had a win on
Right, because
tour.
sometimes you see those guys who come up and they don't have any type of tour status and they make the cut, and at the end of the week you see underneath their money that says 0.
Mm.
You know, which is
Well, they
strange.
must have been. Is it an amateur? You're talking about as playing?
No,
if
I
you're
don't know.
playing as an amateur, like in
Maybe you guys know. I mean, is there any special kind of ruling to start earning while you play in an event as an amateur?
I think no matter what, if you're an amateur, I think that's the defining factor. You can't make money.
So an amateur in a PGA Tour event, if they make the cut and place, 0.
Right.
I
I mean, like take like the Masters. They're out there playing for the low amateur, but they're not taking.
So those low ams don't take any money home.
I don't think so, unless I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think if they decided to turn pro, like that moment, I don't know if they could. I still don't think they can take a paycheck.
Only ams get 0, Mike. Yep, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's just an amateur. Otherwise, if you're in there, you're making money.
Imagine
But-
you won as an am. You can't get the 2.4 mil, but you get the green jacket.
Yeah, not only that, you would be the guy
You
who
would
won
be
the Masters as
a
an
low
amateur.
amateur.
Forever.
Imagine
It'd be
that. Forever.
insane.
Low am win the Masters.
0 money for an amateur. Yeah, thanks, guys clarifying on there. But that's definitely what it is. But anyway, popping back to Zalatoris. So I got to run through some of these because
Yeah,
I
they're
was
great.
just cracking up. So, and what I love, and we'll show you his wedges in a second, he's embracing this. But this one was great. I was 8 years old when I found out Will Zalatoris was Happy Gilmore's caddy. That one was too funny. And then not only that, to look like one guy, but look like two guys. he looks just
They were
like
coming out of
Owen
nowhere.
Wilson here. He goes, I'm just sitting here how talented Owen Wilson will be second in the Masters. Too funny. And whoever put this together, God bless you. He went and found like a picture of Owen Wilson wearing the hat and everything.
It's so perfect.
And then here, of course,
Yep.
Adam Sandler even chiming in. Have fun today, young man. Mr. Gilmore is watching you and very proud. And I know Adam Sandler's a big golf guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Of
But
course.
he was watching and Will at some point he had said, I can't believe like I'm at a point where like Adam Sandler is tweeting
Seriously.
about me or
Like that's
you
how
know.
your life changes.
It's life, yeah, like we said earlier, life
You know?
changing.
Incredible.
And then here talking about how much he's embraced it.
You've got the wedges there.
You got
There
the
it is.
wedges, Mr. Gilmore on
That's
your
amazing.
caddy. And you know who did that. It's got to be our guy AD,
It's our guy AD right there.
who loves a good inside joke. He got me really good
Yep.
with your help for my 40th. That's
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
the man. That's great stuff.
Mr. Gilmore on your caddy. Zach makes a great point talking about that. He said, I'm pretty sure you'll make up sponsor money after that kind of win.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it at that point.
Sunday, you leave with $0. Monday, you're sitting at a table signing some big sponsorship deals.
Right. Exactly. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. For
Rocco
sure.
says Aaron. Yep, Aaron's their
Aaron.
guy.
Aaron is the man.
Well, here's interesting. Hold on. MJS says Lowry won the Irish Open as an amateur and got $0.
Okay, there you go.
Didn't even know that. There you go. Learn something new today. Thank you.
Hey, that's it. That's a defining characteristic. If you're an amateur, you can't be paid. So you would effectively immediately lose your amateur status if you made a dollar.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Okay. So other thing I want to talk about, Spieth. What did you think of that? I mean, Spieth was my pick for the Masters. He ended up doing
Third place.
he was
No
third
signs
place.
of slowing down.
I don't think you see any signs of slowing down either.
I think he's only getting hot and hot. A lot of people are chatting about him as maybe a favorite for Kiowa next month. Because you got to look at the guys that are trending, right? Now, everyone's like, well, what about Rory? This is where he won his first major, and he dominated that.
Right.
He dominated. You guys will definitely know over us how many strokes he won that by. But Rory's not trending in the right direction. So we got to not look at him at this point. Got to look at the guys that are hot. And I think Spieth could be that one.
Spieth definitely could. And I'll tell you
Morikawa, too, be honest.
Morikawa, big time. This is going to be one of those ones that I got to free up 4 days because you know me. I mean, we got the flag up there. Like, Kiawah is my spot. Like, that is my happy place. I absolutely love that course. And it is so hard. It is a pure Pete Dye test. But I do think different golfers obviously play different courses well. Again, it's another year where Rory struggled, and it could be form. It could also, we could start to make that case for the course not matching up with what Rory sees. We recently had Bubba Watson on the podcast. He talked, and it was good getting a PGA Tour player's insight into this, but he said how certain courses just match his eye. He feels like he can see things better. It leads to more confidence. And we talked about why he doesn't often play well at TPC Sawgrass, but he does at some of these other courses like River Highlands, right? But I'll tell you what, I could see Rory making a turnaround and coming back pretty strong by Kiawah if he really plays well there. You know?
I hope so. I love Rory. I want to see him win again. But it was really cool to see these guys, how serious they take these majors, because they're in South Carolina at Hilton Head, and Kiawah isn't far. So we saw Morikawa was playing Kiawah on Wednesday. So here's a guy in the field at Harbor Town.
Yeah.
But he's putting prep work in the day before at Kiawah for next month.
Yeah.
How they think.
Well, that's what they do.
He's defending champ, though.
We've seen Tiger and some of the other guys fly into some of these places where they're, especially the guys, the majors. They're going to take whatever opportunity they can. Paul Moore makes a good point. Says Corey Connors could do well at Kiawah.
Corey Connors good. He's staying hot.
Corey Connors has been playing.
He's one of your ultimate making cuts, making bucks this season so far.
Yes.
He's a guy you could see in the top 10 quite often.
And I tell you what I would love to see, a guy, I don't know, how far out they plan this in the schedule, but I want to see the Ryder Cup come back to Kiawah. The War on the Shore, 1991.
I think it is, Frank.
Is it on the schedule?
Ryder
if it is,
Cup,
guys, throw it in the comments.
Site. I'm going to try to get there before everyone else gets it.
Because it's just a nuanced difference when you have match play, right? Because Kiawah, I know it firsthand, it's a place that can eat you up, but it's a place that also, if you want to get aggressive, you can get aggressive. And I feel like match play, as opposed to stroke play, where you could just go down a hole, or if you are down a couple holes and you got to make it up, you're not worried about possibly posting that double bogey. You get aggressive.
That wind has to be so angry there.
It depends. Yeah, when the wind is always blowing because it's right in the sea. But man, if it's up, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a rundown of the future. We got Whistling Straits this year. We're over in Italy in 23. We're back to Bethpage Black. We're definitely going to that.
Oh, yes,
in 2025. Yeah. Adare Manor. I hope I said that right. In 2027. That's out in Ireland. Hazeltine back in 2029, and then to be determined. It's in Olympic Club in 2033. I just want to see, does it ever come back to Kiawah? Congressional 2037.
Thomas says, is it just me or is Kiawah too long for Spieth to seriously contend? They're bringing it to like 8,000.
I don't know, man. Spieth is still hitting the ball over 300. It's going to come down to putting.
Yeah, and also I get 100% what you're saying, but knowing like the way that if you look at some of the aerial photos, the way that the water often runs right up to the green, it's all about positioning yourself on those greens.
Yeah.
That I don't necessarily.
It's got a very Pebble Beachy type of feel, probably, and Spieth plays well at Pebble.
And here's a random weird kind of fact. When we were in Scotland, we played with Jamie. What was his last name? He played on the European Tour for a while.
Jamie McCleary, and he was telling me when he played Kiawah, tipped out, and he was now it wasn't in contention, but he was on pace for the course record. Yeah.
And then he said he had a tough stretch of the last 4 holes and didn't quite do it. But he played it at the 8,000, which, by the way, at the 8,000, it's insanity. But he was not. The reason I say this is he was not particularly long. Probably would be in the middle to the lower end of the pack on the PGA Tour of driving distance. Mm-hmm. And he still was able to do it. But any of these guys, you got to know they're poking it out there, 290, 310. And then,
You find it funny still that we didn't know he was on the European tour and played in the Open Championship until after the round when we had lunch with him.
I know. The
whole time we're playing with an Open
we're
Championship
clueless
player.
half the time, dude. We're
You know why? Because he was so in the zone. There wasn't much conversation going on out there. But
he was incredible. And then when you play with somebody of that caliber and you realize somebody like that is not regularly on the PGA Tour, it's just like you get so much respect for the guys that are. All right, this is the other thing. I want to get you guys' take on this because this, in a way, it kind of escalated quickly.
Very.
So you guys saw this thing with Gary Player's son, right? So at first, I saw it. He was holding the golf balls during that ceremony. He was holding them up kind of awkwardly, but he was a caddy.
But awkwardly.
It was definitely awkwardly. But
it's like me sitting here the whole time like this.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. I mean, he was holding it like here.
So today,
Yeah, like this is not sponsored by anything. No,
yeah.
But okay, so it started to make a stir on social media that it was in poor taste, that he was taking this ceremony, which is supposed to be like a much more pure thing, and he was clearly kind of advertising the golf balls. And I'm like, well, which way is it going to go? Is this just kind of the internet just kind of making it a little bit bigger than it is? But like I said, escalated really quickly, and you ended up with him getting banned.
Just got banned
from Augusta.
Yeah.
And,
how about that?
And in a way, I get it because Augusta, if we know one thing about them, they have put all of their stake in making this as pristine an event as possible, and they do not tolerate.
Yeah, you don't mess with Augusta.
You just don't mess with Augusta. They're just not going to tolerate it. And some of you guys here, like Jason says, it was tacky and classless. The player family is not hurting for money, especially at the Masters. Well, and it's an interesting thing because the player family is not exactly happy about this.
Yeah, I don't think it's the player family. I think it's Wayne himself who might be hurting for money.
Well, that's just it. So we dug into it a little bit more. So first, here you have a tweet, and there's his brother Mark Player, and he said, and here's where the player family is not standing behind him in any way. So he said, agreed, Wayne has since correctly been banned. So he says correctly been banned from Augusta National and the Masters Tournament. What a shame. What an embarrassment. What a bad decision to allow him on the first tee after years of similar shenanigans. My apologies to all. So then you dig into it a little bit more and you realize it wasn't just a one-time event. It was kind of a last straw.
Yeah.
Because he's had some issues there before. In fact, one of those issues was he had rented a house at Augusta and something happened. I don't know all the details, so I don't want to speculate, but something happened where he didn't pay.
Yeah, he stiffed the bill.
He stiffed the bill. Long story short, the guy who he stiffed approached him and there was some sort of headbutt incident where he headbutt this guy.
And he said it was just a little knock.
It was just,
but still headbutted the guy.
I mean, we've had plenty of conversations where I'll just a little knock you in the head, right?
You still can't do that.
Right. So it was, it was his own thing. So there was that, and then there was an arrest. There was a warrant for his arrest, and eventually charges were dropped when he paid the guy. So I guess a couple of things have happened here, and now he's ultimately
But my
banned.
question, has anyone from Encore Golf come out and said anything? We don't know. Because he must have been doing it for something. He wasn't just, unless he has a stake in the company. It could just be that. I don't exactly know why he was promoting it that hard. Yeah. Does he have a stake in the company? Was he being compensated? If anything, it makes Encore look, in the news.
JZM, makes a good comment there saying that it was tough even for the broadcast because they kept trying. It was too distracting. They tried to cut away from it. And I didn't see it live. I ended up seeing on social media some of the different clips and things like that. But so, yeah, it was tacky. I agree. And that's where at first I'm like, what was this a bannable event? And I thought, well, it's just because the Masters takes everything. Like I've seen it before where people are eliminated from being able to buy tickets and all types of stuff. But then when you look at it, and the fact that it's now been multiple things, that's why you see this. But as far as Encore goes, if you guys have seen a statement from them, let us know in the comments. I haven't seen a statement. I think that they probably are disappointed with how that happened. But at the end of the day, it did put this smaller name brand in front of everybody. So is it that no press is bad press?
I mean, what if Wayne Player unbuttoned his shirt and he opened his shirt and it was just Golficity shirt? We didn't tell him to do it, but he did it. Like, what would I think? I'd be pretty PO'd.
Right.
I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? And
Right.
then, but deep down, I'd be like, hey, pretty cool.
Because like your brand name is out there, but do you want
it associated with that?
an event
Exactly.
like that? That's a tough one. JZM said they did put out a statement. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to see what it was.
Gary does own part of the company. That's what it says. Gary Player owns part of the company.
And I by no means do I think Gary Player put him up to it. I think based on the stuff that we're hearing here is that he kind of did his own thing there. But hey, it is what it is. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about this week's RBC Heritage. We got a stacked field again.
We definitely
big names
do.
in the field. One of them is DJ. What do you think here, Mike? I think he's like in 56 plays. He got cut last week. I haven't heard anything about him being injured. You think we're just seeing a slump from DJ?
I think we just see guys slow down a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, we've had some pretty big events over the last couple months. We've had the Players. We've had the Arnold Palmer. I don't think DJ was that one, but some big events. These guys do get tired. So, you know, it's not nothing that he's falling apart. I just think it's a break. I think he's going to get his body and his game ready for Kiowa. Like a lot of these guys have shifted focus after the Masters to Kiowa, and I think that's just what we're seeing. Guys like Bryson. But some of these other guys out there, they're big names in the field. Like you said, see Sergio on the screen.
Sergio Poulter we're seeing play well again. We talked about Morikawa. We'll talk more about him in a second. Webb Simpson, Corey Connors, as you guys had mentioned. It's a good field. It's a good event. I always enjoy this one. I mean, I think it's a great track. One thing, though, let's talk about it. And you guys start throwing your comments, you know, your thoughts on this in the comments. But what is your take on Bryson bailing out kind of last minute? So I've heard things thrown around, words like head case and disgruntled are some of the words you're hearing. He clearly played poorly again at Augusta, and we know he's put a lot of stake into it because he's talked about some of his plans for attacking the course. And then he plays, and especially coming after that statement, calling it a par 67. Bryson here, this is great. Hideki Matsuno's caddy bows at Augusta. It's the exact opposite of Bryson calling it par 67. But even so much as at the RBC, they went and they put up a larger net on the driving range just for Bryson because he had been hitting it over the net at other events, and he pulls out last minute. What do you guys think?
I honestly think it's just a regroup. You were embarrassed by how you played. You popped your chest out a little bit before Augusta saying that, you know, you had the secret code. It didn't work out in your favor. I did see a funny clip of Shooter McGavin when the guy was interviewing him and Happy Gilmore saying, hey, how about Happy Gilmore? Did you see how far I hit the ball today? And Shooter says, oh, yeah, no, what did he finish in dead last? Sorry, I was too busy. It was kind of like that. So, you know, I think he just needs to regroup, go see his coach, Chris Como, figure some things out, and, again, look forward towards Kiowa is what a lot of these guys have on their mind.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, I'm sure the first time he's back, all the reporters are going to kind of jump on him for an answer, and they're going to be hitting him with that question of what was his decision to back out. I mean, he can kind of bow out of that.
Where was when he lost, he started like crying on the range? The 2018 Open. Remember he played so bad, he went on the range and he was just like hysterically crying afterwards or something?
Yeah, I mean.
He just couldn't hit the ball the way he wanted to, and he got so frustrated. This is his MO.
Right. He's a guy who just.
There's a little bit of a head case in there.
A little bit of a head case. He seems to get a little bit kind of overtaken by his emotions in some ways. And now I'm not saying that I think that it should be in some ways you should do that. I don't think that these players should have just completely stunted emotion.
Yeah. I
mean, Bubba's an emotional guy, but it just seems like sometimes Bryson gets overcome in a way. Well, that was an example of him physically getting overcome by his emotions. But here it seems, you know, since we haven't heard him make a statement, we're on the outside looking in, but it seems like he's just overwhelmed with anger and just was like wanted to regroup.
And he just can't take it if his plan doesn't go, his strategy doesn't go according to plan. That's what it feels like with Bryson.
Yeah. And this is it. I mean, I see a lot of you guys in the comments. I mean, it's polarizing. Chris says, dude's annoying. Paul says maybe he needs a break. It's a tough one because like he doesn't have a very plain personality. He's got a personality that you're either going to like or you're going to hate. But he also arguably does good things for golf because he gets people talking. He gets people watching with the things that he's doing are kind of great. But I think that might be the key that's really to Bryson unlocking him performing even better and starting to win more is getting that under control.
Yeah.
I think he's done incredible things with his body. I think him linking up with a great mental game coach who can give him a little more mental strength might be what he needs to turn that corner.
I agree with
really
that.
Good.
I agree with that. 100%.
Pete says we need villains. It's true.
We need villains. He also said couldn't hit the ball the way he wanted to. So like every golfer,
right? You feel like
Tough
all
game.
of us. But other big stuff. Stuart Sink, 47 years old, 8 under currently. He tees off around noon Eastern time.
63 yesterday from Stewie.
I love seeing when some of these guys are just like they're out there and they can hang with the young guns.
By the way, before we get into making cuts, making bucks, I just want to say my pick was in 5th place when I made the pick, and he's now in 1st. So don't hate on me.
Oh, we think he's picking a front runner.
I don't want you to think I'm picking a front runner, but
yeah.
I'm glad to see he popped up. But go ahead.
Yeah. But and before we even jump into that, I want to talk about this one news story because how wild was this? I don't know if you guys saw, and we're not going to play the video here because I don't know with YouTube's guidelines with violence and whatever. But here, you guys can go watch it on your own. But I don't know if you guys saw this fight. PGA Memes first put it out on Instagram. Mike here tweeted it out. So there's a million ways you can see it. But there was this brawl, and I thought the wildest part was when the guy went after the other guy with the flag stick.
He hit him with the flag stick.
Could you imagine getting hit with a flag stick?
No, 100% not.
And the flag falls off, and he's whipping this guy with the flag stick, and you're like, what is going on in the world? Have we been away from each other too long to this point where we're gonna hit each other with flag sticks?
I could just see the judge saying.
Remember when we couldn't touch the flag stick?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Judge could be like, all right, we have an assault here. Let's just roll the tape. Right. Clearly, with the flags. It's just amazing. Go and watch that video, but we're not going to play it here.
Dude, but here's how this thing erupted. And again, this is where it makes me wonder if we've just been too separated society that we don't know how to get along with each other.
I wonder when it was over. But go
ahead.
You
didn't see the comment?
No.
You put the article on Golficity, and one of the guys commented to tell you what happened. So what happened was this. How wild is this? One of the groups, he loses his cell phone. He leaves it on a hole prior, right? The group behind finds the cell phone and in kind of a poor judgment of a joke, decided that they were going to joke and tell the guy they didn't find it. So now they're kind of holding it hostage. In their mind, they thought this would be a funny joke.
Okay.
Now, so then this guy, it starts to escalate really quickly, eventually thinks that they are pretending they didn't find it because they're going to keep it, I guess. And then the melee ensues.
All over his cell phone.
So bad joke, bad anger.
Yeah.
It's just those two are going to come to head one way or another.
It leaded to somebody getting hit with a flag stick. Just give the phone back next time.
Just maybe give the phone. But that's what happened. So they found this guy's phone. They pretended they didn't find it because they were playing a prank on him. And then it escalated quickly. But, guys, I don't know.
Come on, guys. Hug it out. Move on.
Let's try to give each other some slack out there. Let's give each other some slack.
All right, good stuff.
Quite the kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Too wild. All right, and then before we do we talk about our picks, of course, we want to do this week's Heartbreak of the Week, and we've got a good one for you guys. This one, originally saw it on somebody posted this on Reddit, and then we posted it on our Instagram. But here you go. How? I have one question. How? I mean, you look at this ball, it doesn't ricochet. It hits somehow off the hosel and goes right into her face.
Oh, dude, that is brutal.
That is your heartbreak of the week right there.
Oh, my, that's it.
I don't know what hurt worse, getting hit with the flag stick or hitting yourself in the face
that went right
with
in the
golf.
head.
But I guess, I don't know, Top Golf isn't for everyone. But at least they serve beer there, so you could drink that one off.
You could drink that one off, exactly.
Oh my God, that was wild. But guys, remember, keep tagging us in your heartbreaks of the week. We like to share one each week. And look, the reason we can do it, we've had even ourselves on the heartbreak of the week. It's a humbling game. We got to be able to laugh at ourselves a little bit. Got to be able to.
Of course.
All right, let's jump into this.
You want to do making cuts, making bucks?
Making cuts, making bucks.
Do it.
This is where we get an opportunity for you guys to throw your picks for this week's RBC Heritage in the comments. We'll highlight some of yours. But first, let's go over to Mike. Mike, what are you thinking?
All right. Well, first of all, I love the Wesley Bryan picks coming in. Yes.
Me too. I love seeing Wesley Bryan.
I love him. He's such a great personality.
Yep.
Awesome dude. Him and his brother, they do awesome stuff on YouTube. Love those guys. Have for years. But my pick this week, I was picking Poulter. He was T5, like I said at the beginning of the day. He's now jumped up to first. He's tied first now. But the reason I went with him because he got off to an amazing start earlier in the day this morning. He was -4 out of the gate, I think through 6 or 7, and he played well yesterday. And plus, I think the ultimate reason why I'm going with him is he does have a lot to prove. Pultz has not been playing great. He's been missing a lot of cuts at some big events. But I think this is where he starts to turn it up because I know he's got Ryder Cup on the brain.
Yeah.
So I think Pultz is going to be a top 5 finisher this week for sure.
And do you think, I mean, realistically, any guys can kind of get hot. We saw with Stuart Sink. But do you think Pultz at his age has what it takes to really keep contending? We saw him.
Yes.
It wasn't that long ago. He almost lost his tour card.
And he
then
won it because he was fueled.
Back. Yeah,
right.
fueled.
And that's what I think we're going to see again.
So you think ultimately he is fueled by adversity?
100%. And I think it fuels him just like some of those other guys out there. Reed, those guys. He's got a little bit of that villain. A little bit. Some people hate on Pultz over the years. Not as much as other guys, but I think it does fuel him.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll tell you what, you guys kind of are hitting the nail on the head with where I'm going with this. And and I'm seeing it kind of split right between the two. Cam Smith, I got to give Cam Smith a look, but I tell you what, because and Cam, he played well again at the Masters. He's my guy. I love seeing how he played. I love the mullet, the whole thing.
Yep.
But I tell you what, I got to go with Morikawa.
Yeah,
I just think Morikawa is a guy who, you know, he fires a 65 yesterday and does it in a way that it doesn't seem like it's just like a standout fluke event. He is just the type of guy who his consistency is incredible. His ball striking, I think, literally is just about the best on tour. He just consistently, he's one of those guys who will just beat you by consistently playing good instead of having one of those just one-off really low rounds. You know what I mean?
Makes sense,
and
yes.
I hope for
Sink's
sake it's not just a one-off low round and he can continue it, but Morikawa is the guy who's going to wear you down by just playing good every single day. So I think we're going to see Cam Smith and Collin Morikawa both, you know, up there in contention at the end, but I think Morikawa's, this one is going to be his to win. I just have a good feeling about the guy.
Yeah. I know he wants to contend and defend that PGA champ title, so it could be a good time for him to get hot. Look how beautiful that place looks.
It looks gorgeous
Harbor
there.
Town,
And
yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at all the weather all the way through. But yeah, I see some of you other guys here. We got Colin. Jake says Colin. Rocco, Colin. Matt with Cam Smith pick. Paul Moore with an Abraham Answer pick. Answer's another one who's been playing well.
He's been playing
really well. You guys
really
are
well.
mentioning here, Braden says, how about Wesley Bryan? Yep, Wesley. Like I said, it could be really, it's just so great to see so many of these guys who can win. It just shows you speaks to the strength of the field, and I'd be happy to see any of these guys win. And Tommy makes a great point. He says, Morikawa's game travels to any course. Love his chances. But all great picks across the board. But Morikawa, man, there's something about that guy. Like I said, that guy, he's just Mr. Steady. You know,
Right,
he just plays, every week. Jack, great point too. He says Horschel, just been last few weeks been so good, really has been. And Zalatoris, Max Zalatoris, I know he was just continuing that good play from Augusta, playing well in the first round.
Yeah.
As well. So it could be his too, but I don't know.
Hey, man, golf's in a good place right now.
It's in a good place.
There's
It's
so
good to
many
be
good
able to talk
names.
about so many great golfers.
Did you see just really off topic, but the spring break boys got together for a hockey game the other night?
Yeah, I
Even
did.
Smiley made it out there.
Yeah, Smiley.
You know?
Coming out of
But,
nowhere. Those guys, hey, looked like they were having a good time. That's for
It's
sure.
good to see that again.
All right. So,
All right, I want to do a quick giveaway.
yes,
Yes,
let's
because
do
I
a
promised.
quick giveaway update. Go ahead,
All right,
Mike.
so first off, we did our HQ Tour giveaway where, the comment wall, we had one lucky winner who, by the way, we're going to start working on that comment wall. If you haven't
Who was
seen
working
that.
on that last night as far as how we wanted
How
to
we're gonna
because
do-
I wanted to look right.
Yeah.
You know?
So our winner was, I believe Caleb was his name, and his comment, because he won, will be the first one to go on our HQ wall. So he got the putt out Big Mat. That's not even out in stores yet. You can't buy it.
Yep.
So we sent that to him along with some training aid that went with it. We do have an amazing OptiShot home simulator build giveaway coming. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm just going to break the news to you guys. This thing's $4,200. We built it in my living room. We broke it down, and we're going to send it to someone. So if you're watching us on YouTube and you're not subscribed, come on, just hit it because we're giving it away to a subscriber. Titleist drivers, hybrids, it just goes on and on. The tea bag from my closet build. I know a lot of you guys were asking about that. I'm, in fact, going to go pick that winner today on the YouTube channel. I'm just going to grab any of those comments, and I'm going to select a winner. So I think I wrapped them all up there.
Yeah, I think that's all of them. But even stay tuned. It'll be in 2 weeks where we're going to be announcing that big simulator giveaway. It's our biggest dollar.
I mean, who doesn't want an at-home simulator?
Right.
Come on.
And there will be multiple ways to win. We're going to do one of our big giveaways where you guys have multiple options and chances.
Alex Bang, just subscribe. Thank you. There you go. You got to be in it to win it.
That's exactly right. So we're gonna be doing a mix of both these flash giveaways, which we're gonna give to random subscribers, but we're also gonna do some of these giveaways with multiple chances to enter. It's just our way to continue to try to give back. They're really, I mean, I think you agree with me, Mike. There's nothing that feels better than just kind of making someone's day.
Absolutely. I love it.
It's just
the messages I get when those products land and then the photos they post of it, just the sheer excitement. And I forgot to mention the FootJoy Hyperflex. FootJoy ran that one, so they put a U.S. only on that, and they did the rules for that. So that one's done. They did announce the winners for that.
Now, I know FootJoy, they contacted us yesterday. They said there's 5 total winners. They've been in contact with 3 of them, and they're getting them their prize. We are going to also announce all of the winners on our social, but we're just waiting for 2 more winners to come forward.
Yeah.
So it's like when the lottery, when someone wins and we're waiting for
you to come forward.
So once we're going to announce those there as well. But trust us, guys, if you are one of our winners, we are going to hunt you down and find a way to find you as best as we can.
Definitely.
But yeah, so we're working on that.
And you're all asking about, are they going to be U.S. only? No, in fact, when we pick random subscribers, we don't know where you live. Right. So,
YouTube doesn't tell, and that's why it's sometimes it's hard. So what we'll do is we will reply to your comment and try to get in contact, because there's not always a way you can. It's not like Instagram where we can just DM you. So but trust us, we're gonna work our butts off to hunt you down and get you your prize.
Absolutely, that's why you have to subscribe. Plus, subscribing will also give you alerts when we do Coffee and Golf, when we are live. So why not subscribe, because you will win something. You could win something, and I think it's got to be over $7,000 worth of stuff we're giving away in the next month.
Easy.
Or so.
Easy. Pete says if they don't come forward, I'm available. There you go. But you guys got it. Like I said, we appreciate you guys. Your subscriptions, you're liking the videos, things like that are what help us grow. What we want to give back as much as possible. We're going to continue to work on getting these prizes. They're landing here at the door. We're going to announce them. We're going to keep a giveaway going almost every single week. So stay tuned for that. Again, great seeing everybody. Coffee and Golf. Stay tuned every Friday. We'll be here, except the week we're in Pinehurst.
That's right.
We're going to have to take 1 week off when we're away. But otherwise, we'll be here. So grab your coffees, set your alarm clocks, 10 a.m. Eastern. Meet us here every week so we can have you guys in the comments. It is so great to see you guys. Have a great weekend. Play some golf. We'll see you guys soon.